Okay, good morning, friends. We're continuing Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Kuf Chaf Ches. We're middle of Seif Yud. We already did some of the Mishaburas on Seif Yud, but let's let's begin with Seif Yud. But first, I want to welcome my dear brother, Rabbi Glatstein, to the Shir Shkayach. Okay. Welcome, Baruch Haba. Okay, Sif Katan, we're up to Sif Katan Lamed Zayin, but let's read the Mechaber one more time. The Mechaber says, Oimdim Duchan, they stand at the Duchan, Pneim Klapei Heichal, they're facing the Aron, V'achareim Klapei Ha'am, and their back is to the people. Now, that is the more logical position, because you're not allowed to put your back toward the Heichal. There's even a pasuk in the Chumash, in the Tanakh, that says V'achareim El Heichal Hashem. So that's usually not allowed. Achareim El Heichal Hashem not allowed. That's why they stand with their back toward the people. V'etzboseim kfufim utach kapeim. Their fingers are bent into their palm. Ad sheshel tzira masayim moedim. Until the shots completes moedim. Va'azim heim shnayim, and then if there are two, karei lahem asher tzibur kayanim. The shel tzibur calls out kayanim. Yesterday we saw that there's a requirement to call out to the kayanim, and that is learned out from the pasuk Amar Lahem. So they can't just be mavarich, but we have to call out to them to be mavarich. But the pasuk from which we learn out that you have to call out to them to be mavarich, it says plural, kaihanim, plural. So lahem is mashma two. The Mishabura dealt with why is it not a hefsik to call out for them, because nesias kapayim is tzarech tefillah. The same way the shel tzibur is allowed to feed them each word, yivarechacha, yair, yisa, he's allowed to say kaihanim. Now, if there is duchening, you do not say Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosenu. That's the first opinion of the Ramah. The Mishabura said Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosenu is only niskan when the kohanim are not duchening. Then the Ramah brought, let's start reading from here. V'yesh oimrim sha'oimrim oisei b'lachash. Some say that they say it quietly. Ad milas kohanim v'az oimroi b'kol ram. Then he says it out loud. In other words, when there is duchening, he says, then he says, Kohanim, he says the words Kohanim out loud. And then he says the words Am Kadosh quietly. So he says, Kohanim, Am Kadosh. That's the second opinion of the Ramah. That is the minog in our Medinas. The Mechaber continues. Umachzirim pneim klapei am. Now the kohanim turn to the people. Vihimu echad. If there's only one guy, einoi kairelai. He's not going to call out to him. He can only call out to him if there are two. Elu meyatzlim machzer panav. He on his own turns to the people. Now we're going to deal with, what do you mean we don't call out to him? The Ramah said the minog is, we say Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosenu quietly. And if we say Elokeinu v'Elokei Avosenu quietly, then we say the word Kohanim out loud. So if we say the word Kohanim out loud, we're calling out to him. So we'll see in the Mishnah Berura. Now, take a look in Sif Katan Lamed Zayin. Umachzirim pneim, they turn around. Why do they only turn around samach lebracha? The Dirshu brings from the Knesset Agdoila that before the bracha they say the Yehi. So if they're davening, right? The Yehi was, we saw yesterday in Sif Tes, they say the Yehi mofanecha shem lakeinu shetei bracha zu shetzivisanu levarech es amcha Yisrael bracha shalema v'layia ba michshal va'avain me'ata v'ad olam. So they're davening. If they're davening, they need to be klapei hashchina. But by Birchas Kohanim, we're about to see, they're even allowed to be Achareim El Heichal Hashem. What's the heter? It's a Beferish Gemara. The Dirshu brings, note 54, it's Gemara in Saita Daf Mem. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, La'olam Yehei Emas Tzibor Alecha. Shaharei Kohanim Klapei Ha'am Va'achareim Klapei Hashchina. Meaning, the heter for the Kohanim to have their back to the Aron is Emas HaTzibor. Comes the Or Sameach says, that's the meaning of the tefillah of the Kohanim when they say after the duchening, Ribono Shel Olam, Asinu ma shegazarta aleinu. I always thought Asinu ma shegazarta aleinu is, you decreed that we bless the people. The Or Sameach says, no, you decreed that even though we're not allowed to have Acharem al Heichal Hashem, in this instance, you're allowed to have Acharem al Heichal Hashem. That's how the Or Sameach learns. Now this is Mamish Davar Yafa Be'itai. Because the question is, how could a rabbi give a Shabbos Haggadah drasha, but his back is to the Aron? So many rabbanim, they have a minhag before they start, they kiss the paroiches. It's a way of, so to speak, like a hamlatza, forgive me please, forgive me please. Some won't even speak from directly in middle, but based on what we're learning now, there's, as important as it is that you should not have Acharem al Heichal Hashem, more important is Ema de Tzibura. Okay. Although if you're really afraid of the Tzibur, you would give the drasha facing the Aron, Okay. But then you would have a lot to be afraid of from the Tzibur if you did that. So, okay. The Mishabura says, Siv Katan Lamed Zayin. Umachzirim Paneim, the Alfina Begemara, Sheberchas Kohanim Tzarch Lias Panim Keneged Panim. We learn now in the Gemara, Berchas Kohanim has to be face to face. By the way, the Dirshu says a different heter. Later on, Siman Kuf Nun, Sivkat Yud Gimel, he brings from the Taz, the reason why a Rav is allowed to be Darish L'Rabim is since the Sefer Torah is in a different Rishus, and the Pri Megadim says this is only mutter b'drasha, because it's Lufi Shah. We'll get to it in Siman Kuf Nun. Okay. Back to the Mishnah Berura. Ve'in tzarich liyos pnei HaKohanim klapei Shliach Tzibur dafka. The Kohanim don't have to be facing the Shliach Tzibur. Ela afilu im ha'hichal kavua b'tzafin. Let's say the Aron is in the north. So the Aron's in the north, and the Teva, that the Bima, that the Shliach Tzibur is davening, is in the east. Still, the Kohanim will stand before the Heichal in the north, facing the south. So in other words, the Kohanim do not have to face the shots; they have to face the people. So whatever the configuration of the shul is, the Kohanim are facing the people. It says Mishra v'yesham shetav yeshikayim yamdu b'mizrach afal pisha heichal hu letzad acher. Some say it's better for the Kohanim to stand in the east, even if the Aron is elsewhere. V'ha'am yamdu negdam panim k'neged panim, and then the people face the Kohanim. Meaning, the question is, should the Kohanim stand in the east, irrespective of where the Aron is, or should they dafka stand in front of the Aron? Shnei Kohanim hasoinim zeh. Two Kohanim who hate each other. They can't stand each other because they're in a shul. Ruvain thinks he would get every single aliyah if not for Shimon, the other Kohen. Shimon, the Kohen, he says, look, my father was a Kohen, I'm a Kohen. Your father, I don't know what he was, but somehow you're a Kohen. They don't like each other. So what do? Va'afilu nadru hana zamizeh. They even made a neder of hana. It's also davar yafa be'itai. We're learning this in Adarim. Yeah? Mutarin lalois biyachad. They're allowed to duchen together. One guy can't say to his friend, listen, there's not enough room at this duchen for the two of us. So you do duchen by shachris, I'll daven by musaf. Each one can say, I want to make the bracha by both. But what if the tzibur can't stand the kohen? Or he can't stand the tzibur. He's putting his life in peril if he duchens. Therefore, he should go out of the shul before Ritzayim. If he can't overcome his yetzer and remove the sinner from his heart, he has to leave the shul. Now, what's the danger? Why is he putting his life in danger? The Achronim bring it in the name of the Zohar. I don't know what the reason. I would conjecture the reason is. that who blesses the Kohanim? Hashem. Why? Because va'avarcha mevarechecha. Hashem says, I will bless those who bless Jews. So the Kohen blesses a Jew, God blesses him. But if the Kohen is not blessing the Jew, or he's doing it half-heartedly, so in a way, it's like bebechinas klala. So then, you're going to stand at the Aron and you're going to be makalel another Jew. So Hashem says, u'mekalelcha a'ar.
What about the Am? The Am also.
What if the people hate him?
Yeah. Combine Ponim El Ponim.
I don't know. All we have here is the Achronim in the name of the Zohar. You have to look in your books. Okay. Siv Katan Lamed Ches. Vihimu Echad. If there's only one Kohen, you don't call out to him. What if there's two Kohanim, but one of them is not bar mitzvah? You have another Kohen, but he's less than 13, you don't call out. Prichadesh challenges us. According to our minhag, that the Shat says, just the Kohanim, right, according to our minhag, the Shatz says, says quietly. He says, Kohanim b'koram, lo yichbat lan klal. The leka hefsek, it's not a hefsek, v'umein tefillah. So the bottom line is that if the minhag of the shul, or if the procedure is you say just kohanim, you can't do that to one kohen. It's a hefsek. If you say alekenim alkev quietly, and then you could say kohanim out loud. Let's say you don't even have that second kohen. You just have one kohen. The ain't shum hefsek bazeh. That's not a hefsek. I've had that many times. When I started out in Rabbanos, so in the shul, very often there was only one kohen. So I told the shots, just say Elokeinu Elokeinu quietly. Anyway, that was a good idea, because if you don't call out to the kohen, Kohanim, he'd still be there. It's now 12 years later. He'd still be there now. So, you got to give him the cue. So, anyway, yeah. Machzir Siv Katan Lametes. He does it on his own. V'noisei kapayim. He dochens ha'mavrach gam ken betchin. He says the bracha ve'afa agav de'enu mochiv la'alois. Lefi ma shekasav l'el b'sif beis. Even though he doesn't have to go up, because he wasn't called. Umikoshken l'das hamaharach. Hamaharlach v'tasiv katan gimel. De'mechiv la'alois min ha'torah. Meaning, even though, according to what I said earlier, he doesn't have to go up because he's only one and he wasn't called. Certainly, according to Mahar Lach, that he is mechuyev la'alois min ha'torah, he has to go up biblically. Imhu echad afa b'shaloi krai de'mavarich. Certainly, he makes the bracha, but he would even make the bracha even though he's not mechuyev to go up. Okay, Rabbi Isai, we'll hold it over here. We'll pick it up tomorrow in Sif Yud Aleph. Have a great day. Kol Tov.